cloud computing, will we still be talking about it in 2011, or will everybody realize that the term no longer has any meaning whatsoever?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Wait, yes to what? Wait,
and that's because everyone has thought that it's died already, but it's actually coming back. And
how has the term not have any meaning?
Well, I mean, does it mean software as a service? Does it mean utility computing? Does
I think
mean,
it means everything. All, you know,
exactly.
All in the cloud.
It's like
if it's not on your desktop, it's in the cloud.
It's just more fun to say than software as a service. Which
is the worst acronym ever, right?
Well,
Sorry, Mark.
What do Salesforce.com and VMware have in common?
Really high
it's cloud computing, right? You know.
But it happens somewhere else, not at your house, not at your office.
Yeah.
But I think
not with a mouse, not in a house.
What we're starting to see.
In terms of talking about what's happening in enterprise hardware and software, it's everything. I mean, that's cloud computing in terms of the back end and the plumbing is why you've got the consolidation of 4 or 5 big companies and all the guys in the middle are getting sucked up.
Yeah, and I think
that's because of cloud computing.
And we're starting to see companies with hundreds of thousands of employees in the cloud. Very quietly, they're starting to really move back-end systems into the cloud.
Yeah, but I think there are a number of different, distinct, and important trends that are being lumped in under this term that really, what does it mean? I mean, you can talk about software as a service. You can talk about systems, what Cisco's putting together,
but what it means
what
is
Oracle's
actually,
trying to put together.
It's actually not, I don't think it is as complicated as the story as that. In essence, you're talking about taking your data from a local location and putting it in a centralized location where you don't need to buy as many servers, you don't need to hire as many network administrators, and you're cutting costs. And you're seeing this both, I mean, consumers are doing this all the time. You've got you're downloading videos from Netflix, or you're pulling, you've got music in the cloud, or you're uploading your pictures to or Flickr or something. Yeah. So and this is a phenomenon that, in a sense, the consumers have comfortably adopted to, and I think the enterprises are just naturally going to do what is in fact their economic imperative, which is to cut costs. This is about reducing costs at the end of the day for the enterprise, and it's just cheaper if you've got it centralized. And so I think there's no question. I mean, if you're tired of hearing about cloud computing, it's sort of a bummer, because I think we're going to hear about it more and more and more and more.
I think the term doesn't have much meaning.
I was going to say, we won't hear about cloud computing, I think, because I don't think that, if you look at 10-year-olds today, I'm not sure they make a distinction between cloud computing and earth computing, if you will, right? So, I mean, I agree that it'll exist, that it'll be really important. I mean,
let's put this topic and the previous one together. If Apple says all of your songs are in the cloud, will we keep talking about cloud computing? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Apple won't say they're in the cloud. They'll
come
up with a much more
or will we talk about streaming
palatable way to say it that'll get people excited. That's a problem we face. It's sort of this mega trend, and yet convincing readers they should care, or that it's having an impact on their lives, is tough, because it's very evolutionary, it's very abstract. But if you say, if you come at it as saying, well, now you're going to stream all your TV on your computer, or now Netflix is going, streaming only, or getting away from DVDs, that's the stuff you write about. The cloud stuff, I don't know, I think it begins to sort of move into the background.
Think about Facebook. Facebook is basically a cloud application, right? Where's all your Facebook data live? On your desktop?
Yeah, but if you write about Facebook as a cloud application.
I understand that, but the point is, though, that the underlying trend, data lives in the mysterious cloud, is something that is going to be pervasive and only becomes more so over time.
Ben?
It will.
Dan, cloud? Are you pro-cloud? Are you anti-cloud?
Sorry. I don't know how you can be pro or against cloud. I mean, it's like,
come on, you're killing me.
It was like people used to say about Linux. Are you pro Linux?
No,
I don't give a shit either
I'm
way. I don't care.
about
Whatever.
the term.
I mean, I just cover it. I don't make it happen.
Streaming, we write about cloud computing.
Yeah,
are you talking about software as a service, utility computing, streaming media? Are you talking about apps? What are you talking about? I don't know anymore.
I don't know. I get all those terms. It's not that confusing to me. Now I don't know why you're on TV anymore. Now I'm starting to wonder.
That's why I'm on TV.
So now I know why you're on CNBC.
Yeah,
no. Look, I mean the cloud. Sorry, accents. Shit. No, I mean I think it makes sense. The whole move to cloud. I mean there's different terms, but it all means there, you know, it's all, we all understand it's an umbrella term.
I don't understand what you're talking about here, John, because it's like, you know, well, there's candy and there's beef and then there's farming. What does this food word mean?
I
Well,
think
why do we
cloud
call it mobile
computing is
computing?
like
Are you
the
talking about-
information superhighway of
Yeah.
2011. Who says that anymore? What does that even mean?
Who
I'm,
says information superhighway?
Well, that was all bullshit.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
That's
That means
what's
cloud
called,
computing is heading that way.
I agree. And thank God, I need to.
Thank you.
Oh, and a random prediction. I think the clouds are going to come from the sky in 2011 and take over and be our new overlords.
Yeah.
I like that. That's edgy.
So we have some people in the audience who are upset that we, you know, Cisco. Why didn't we mention Cisco in the cloud? Mentioning Cisco.
Nice pandering.
Dell powers the cloud.
Okay,
Dell.
I have one. Let me ask
Wait,
you,
I think
in terms of the cloud,
Microsoft,
here's one interesting
SAP, and the
angle.
other power of the cloud.
There were tweets. You know, people are, you know, just responding in real time.
If the cloud drives consolidation, which I mean, you know, listen to Nick Carr's basic thesis, right? Which is that we go to a model like electricity and becomes more consolidated into data centers. Data centers buy from fewer suppliers, so there's a massive consolidation that's bound to happen, right? What happens to the mid-market companies like the EMCs and the Junipers of the world? Where do they end up? Who buys them? Like, who buys EMC? EMC is really not big enough to, and it's a great company, don't get me wrong, but I mean, where do they end up? Do they end up part of HP? And who becomes the 2 or 3 big cloud operators, and how do all the pieces that are out there now get sucked up into those 2 or 3 big suppliers?
That was a very
You know, I
deep
think
question.
that's a really, really interesting question.
Thank you
because
very
I
much. I'm gone now.
I think in the enterprise, you're really going to see some dynamic shift. I think, you know, sorry, SAP, we're going to see some inroads from other players into SAP's territory, into Oracle's territory. And I think we're about to see this huge shift in the way that enterprises operate.
Yeah, SAP is like one of the last, if not the last, great European tech company. And it'll be like Airbus or something. It'll get carried. You know, they won't disappear.
No, I'm not saying SAP is going to disappear. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I've been spending a lot of time talking to CIOs lately, and they've been talking about how, you know, increasingly they're thinking about ERP and they're thinking about cloud, and they're not sure where SAP fits into that thought process. You know, and which is was a shock to me.
Does SAP have a good 2011 or a bad 2011? Predict.
Compared to 2010?
Compared to 2010.
Compared to 2
It's all
weeks ago,
relative.
Yeah, compared to what?
I think they're a great acquisition candidate for someone.
They're so huge. Nobody could afford
Microsoft,
to
they were
buy
almost
SAP.
doing a deal with Microsoft a few years ago.
Oh boy, but market cap wise, I don't know. I think a lot of
HP?
people underestimate SAP.
You don't think HP would needs to get into the enterprise
They
software
couldn't buy
business?
SAP if they wanted to.
Why not?
Why?
Look at first of all the market caps.
It's a
Then look
blind
at the-
spot. They don't have that
Chief
piece.
executive knows nothing about that company.
They got Oracle coming at them, right? Ellison has said basically HP is now public enemy #1. You know, they want to go. They've got Sun. They're going to try to go after some of HP's stuff. You're starting to see them splinter a little bit. So I think HP comes back and says, how can we add that enterprise software piece to all this other stuff we've got? And you know, again, they've got a ton of money. It's an overseas acquisition, so they don't have to worry about repatriating money to buy them. So
Time out here. I just love watching all you guys shake your heads and frown at us. I think next year we ought to have like sponges. Just throw them up here.
Hand out tomatoes.
Yeah.
I think it's too early in 2011 to talk about SAP's business eroding to the point where they're going to get acquired. But I think there is a point where SAP either has to play offense and go out and be aggressive about adding parts to the business, doing acquisitions, or they will eventually become acquisition fodder for whether it's HP or Oracle or IBM. I mean, and I think Daniel's right that there's no question that the number of companies is going to shrink. And EMC, VMware, maybe even Salesforce, companies that are kind of below that top tier are going to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And there are issues around things like valuation. Salesforce trades at like 120 times earnings or something like that. But it wasn't a problem when they were bidding for 3PAR. I mean, you had HP and Dell, they just wanted to own the asset because there just isn't that much to buy. And eventually, all of that stuff is going to get bought out. EMC looks expensive on paper until you look at it and realize that 85% or something of their market cap is their stock in VMware. So EMC is actually, I think, vulnerable here. Cisco could buy them. I think there's, you could see EMC get acquired. I think much more likely than SAP.
Huh. Interesting. I disagree. Too big. Nobody's going to want to spend that kind of money. That's just my opinion. But let's move on to personalities. Who's Larry Ellison going to pick on next? Anybody here in the front row is vulnerable.
I think we know. I think it's Leo. I think it's HP. I think he's found his man and he's going to keep beating that.
started picking on him?
Yeah, I think that's going to be their story
So who's
now.
next?
Well, that lasts a couple of years. You know, he had Bill Gates in the 90s. He had SAP for a few years, and now he's got. I mean, you know, again, if he's taking on HP, they're several magnitudes larger than Oracle, so that's going to be a big fight for a long time.
Well, let's just be clear and let's be serious about it. It may seem like fun and games what Larry's doing, but he knows what the hell he's doing.
That's right.
And what he's doing is whittling down HP's reputation slowly but surely. And if I had to put my money behind one of the two, I'd put my money behind Larry and Oracle.